The Miami Dolphins have a brand new attitude that's going to take them from Super Bowl pretenders to Super Bowl contenders. Last year, the Dolphins were labeled as a team that was soft, that couldn't beat any good teams, flat out would just fail in any big opportunity. Now, I think part of that narrative is absolutely true. The Dolphins failed to beat the good teams that they face on a consistent basis, be it the Bills, Ravens, the Chiefs. On multiple occasions when they had good teams ahead of them, they were unable to execute at the level that they were and compared to the games of lesser opponents. But the narrative that they lacked physicality and were soft, I think was a little lazy, as the Dolphins were one of the best rushing and run defending teams in football, which is usually the narrative people like to play in terms of physicality and not being soft. But I think the Dolphins heard that noise and have done everything in their power to try and combat that with this brand new attitude. This team just has a different edge to them. It all started after a training camp practice where Jalen Ramsey pulled the entire team aside, had like a 10 to 15 on the field meeting, basically just saying, we gotta be bullies. Like, we gotta bring it every single day, basically trying to win the day over the offense or the offense on the defense, talk trash, just try and make the environment as game-like as possible, just continuing that competitive presence that you need day in, day out, especially in these long training camp days. You just have to raise that standard to make that growth that you need to make to beat those very good teams. And there's just a more emphasis on being more physical, on raising that competitive standard that I think is going to translate to Sundays. And it all started with this press conference from Jordan Brooks breaking down that meeting.
What do you think that this defense is going to do to kind of change that identity?
Just be physical, just be physical. I think a lot of that is just because how much attention Tyreek Hill draws, on the national stage, just, the speed, and everybody pays attention to that, and which they should, because it's that good. But, the defense kind of gets like overlooked in that way. But I think that's everybody's mentality coming in. New guys like myself, pride ourselves on being physical. And I think of any great defense, you have to be physical. We want to be feared. And so right now, we're in the process of doing that. Not every day is going to be perfect, but that's why we got the pads on, working in the heat, and just emphasizing it day after day until we get to the point where we feel like, we the bullies on the team.
And that's been a standard in every single one of these press availabilities for all of the Dolphins, trying to make these practices as competitive as possible. Even seeing the reports from the beat reporters on the field. One play is like, oh, the offense just did this. Oh, the defense just did this. Like, these are back and forth practices that are super competitive. Travis Wingfield, one of the best reporters out there, basically saying this is the secondary's look in training camp in terms of preventing the deep ball, especially when you have the Tyreek and Waddle. But they're still making those plays on the same note. So these practices have been ultra competitive. And then the thing that really set it over the edge, that you can tell that this team is different, came from this quote from Tua Tagovailoa, basically explaining this development of his leadership from being a complete shell of himself under Brian Flores, not wanting to even be a captain, not willing to speak up. Now he showed his personality, and then the next step in that whole leadership is not only just showing his personality, but now being more vocal and helping out guys. The standard is the standard. I'm going to help tell you what you need to do. I'm not afraid to step on toes anymore. I'm going to tell you what you need to fix, because overall it is for the betterment of the team, as well as the fact that he's mentioned, like, I build a bond with a lot of these guys outside of the building. There's so many off the field relationships that are built so that when I do need to kind of chew you out a little bit, it's coming from a loving place. I just want this team to be better, and if you're not about that, then basically get out. So that is that clip right here.
We were talking to Mike earlier about the 24-year playoff drought. What do you think this team needs to do to get over that hump, to get a win in the playoffs?
It's cool to be friendly. All cool. I think for us, I think that's the step we took further this year as a team. Like, I'm able to look at you as my teammate, and I'm able to tell you what you need to work on, and you're able to tell me the same thing, and that's it. Big brother, little brother, big brother, whatever that looks like. Accountability. But, like, that's why you create those relationships off the field, so that you know where I'm coming from. It's all out of love. It's all out of respect. But if you're not helping me get to where we need to be as a team, we don't need you. And if I can't tell you that, get out. Like, it's plain and simple. Like, that's just how it is. That's the mindset. And I don't know if you guys were out there at practice, but everybody needs to feel that, like, everywhere. Like, and so I think in my personal opinion, we have the guys that we need right now to do all of that. So, and go end this 24-year drought and get us to a Super Bowl.
Man, when I heard that clip, like, it's just a whole new to it. Like, it's insane just to see his progress, just even in the media, from the Brian Flores era to now, from, like I said, coming out of his shell to then being the leader of this caliber. I didn't necessarily see it coming, but I really think that it's just a whole nother level. And you see it, like, Tyreek ran a wrong route, Tua pulled him to the side, and Tua has been dicing up this training camp. That man is on a mission, and I'm just excited to see this offense come week 1. And then the last part of this, in terms of the Dolphins being soft, they can't win the big game, all that noise on the outside media, they brought in a ton of veteran presence that I really think will help with that. Even Jordan Poyer mentioned when they were with the Bills, obviously on the opposite end of a lot of the Dolphins' downfalls, it was like there was just a feeling within the Bills building, once you got on top of the Dolphins, they weren't going to come back. Like, it was just one of those things where it was just kind of a confidence thing, and that's part of what the narrative is being said. Jordan Poyer is helping with that veteran leadership. But the Dolphins brought in Calais Campbell and Jordan Poyer. That is 27 years of NFL experience that they brought in on the defensive side of the ball to help take the Dolphins' playoff drought out of our misery and make us a winning team. I just feel like you see it all over the field in these practices, with Jalen Ramsey really being a tone setter, Jordan Poyer, Calais Campbell, the offensive side of the ball with Tyreek and Tua really stepping up in leadership roles and not being afraid to tell you what you need to do better. I just feel like this team is completely different. They have a whole new attitude with them, and I think it's going to pay dividends come this football season. I think they're going to beat good teams. I think they're going to win the division, and I think they're going to win a playoff game. So that is my real confidence on this team. I place bets. I'm not even that big of a bettor. I place bets on the Dolphins to win the division. I think this is the best chance the Dolphins have had of winning Super Bowl since I've been a fan, and hopefully that comes to fruition. Of course, the AFC is a stacked conference, which is so unfortunate, as the Dolphins have been the best that they've been. The rest of the AFC is like that. If you look at the AFC compared to the NFC, I feel like it's night and day in terms of how much good teams there are. But nonetheless, this is the best the Dolphins have been. I think they've gotten a new edge to help elevate their overall play that we even saw from last year, which was one of the best teams in all football prior to the injuries. They're getting a little more healthy, more veteran leadership, and I just think this team is different and they're going to be way better. Comment your thoughts down below. Do you think there's a new attitude in the Miami building? Appreciate you guys for watching. Like and subscribe to help the channel grow, and until next time, fins up.